Alright, welcome to part 5 of our Strat neck build. So in this video I'm going to go over a couple things. I'm just going to quickly open up perspective view here. So the first is I'm going to fix up our bottom piece here and stretch that out so we can create a nicer surface on the bottom. I'm going to go over splitting our lines up so that we can create our surface on top, and then I'm going to show you how to create the surfaces. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to fix up our bottom so that we can get a nice rounded surface when we get to creating our surfaces here. So in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is turn control points on. Basically, I'm just going to move these 3 to 5 control points back, basically as far as this flat section is right here. So using the gumball tool, I'm just going to stretch them all back a little bit. I'm going to use our blueprint as a reference here. So basically we're creating this section here right now. Alright, so I like the way that looks. So now what we have to do is we have to fix this line that we had originally. So I'm going to turn the control points on there. I'm going to go top view. I'm going to make sure near is on and that point isn't on. I'm basically just going to drag this back so that it falls back on this line again. There we go. So have a look at that in perspective. So that's what we want. Alright, so I'm going to go over splitting our objects and creating surfaces. So as I said earlier, you can only have 5 corners to create a surface on. Sorry, 5 curves. As you can see here, we have 1, 2 on the top, 3, 4, we have 5 right here, because we're basically going to drape a surface over top of all of this. And also, when we select this piece, it goes all the way around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these up using the other lines that we drew. So I'm going to show you very simply on the bottom one first, using the split tool. This is the one we want to split up. We want it to be from here to here. We don't want the back piece. So press enter, and I want to cut it with this curve, with this curve. It's done. And there we have one simple curve now. So I'm going to do the same thing on top. I'll use this curve instead though. I'm just going to select the whole top. That's the piece I want to cut, so I'll press enter. Select my 2 cutting pieces. And now when I select it, it's just that piece there. So we have a problem because we still have 5 lines instead of 4, which is the most we can have for creating our curve network. So I'm just going to join these 2 lines together because they follow on a fairly similar plane there. So using this little puzzle piece tool here, I'm going to join them together. So now when I select one, it will select both of them. And I have to make sure that it's split from back here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece too. There we go. So if you recall earlier to when we were doing our simple box with surfaces, we had 4 pieces, 1 up, up, across, and down, and we just drape a surface over top. So we're basically going to do the exact same thing right now with a more complex shape. This isn't just an easy rectangle to draw a surface on top. It's curved, so we're going to use a curve network. So I'm going to go into the surface tool, select curve network, and I'm going to select my 4 curves that I want to drape over top of. Done. And as you can see there, I'll turn on shaded. created a simple curve network over top of those items there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. Curve network, one piece, two pieces. Actually, the bottom, because it's all flat on the same level, I'm just going to do a patch. There we go. So that one's a bit easier to do than our curves. Just going to change the color now that it's a bit easier to see. So now that we're on this side over here, I want to split this curve here, and I want to connect this little piece to this one over here. So I'm going to select trim tool, select my curve, press done, and this will be my cutting curve right here. So now we have this piece free by itself again, and now I want to join it. With this curve, so I'll go ahead and join those two together. I'm going to split this piece right here too. So I'll select the top curve and my splitting curve. So there we have it. So now I have 4 curves again that I can put that curve network on top of. So there you have it. There's the front piece. So now we're going to have to basically do the same thing in the back, cutting our objects. So I'm going to do more at once this time just to kind of speed it up. So I want to cut our top curve up here so that this piece is one and this piece is one. I want to do the same to the bottom. So I'm going to select our split tool, and I want to cut both of these curves, so I'm going to select them both. And then I'm going to select everything that I want to cut with. So that curve, and that curve. Go ahead and press done. So as you can see, all of my curves are separated now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a curve network over top. So first I have to cut this one as well really quick. Alright, so I want to join this tiny little curve with this curve here. So I'll select them both, join them together. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 curves. And that is what I need for a curved network. So go ahead and put that on top. So just like on the other side, I have to cut this piece back out now from the curve. So I'm going to use the split tool, select this curve. I'm going to cut it with this curve. So we have this curve on its own now. And I'm going to join it back with this curve on the opposite side. I'm going to go ahead and place my curve network on top of it here. Oops. Try that again. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and do a patch on the bottom as well. So we got a small error there from something. And there it is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and try that patch again. Making sure that I select the proper curves. Oh, and I'm also going to have to split this curve out on the bottom first. I'm going to select the split tool, select the curve, go ahead and split that. There we go. So let's try that surface again with the patch tool. Making sure I select the right curves. Let's try that one more time. Go ahead and try a curved network on there. See if we can make that work. Try and trim those again. They keep coming up with this piece here, so we're going to have to fix that. Alright, hopefully we got to the bottom of that. There we go. So it's important that you make sure that this piece is split. I thought it was. Clearly I have to go back and fix it up. So now we're going to do our 3 remaining sides with our curved network. So that'll be right here. So again, same as last time, curved network. Again, it's another common error that people run into is instead of selecting curve, they select the surface edge, which is from the surface we just created. Make sure we're selecting our curves, which is the line that we drew originally. So I'm just going to swing to the other side of our object here. So as you can see, we still have to do the top of our object. And I think the easiest way to do it would be to cut it by drawing a line that connects right here. So I'm going to select this curve and this curve right here. Turn control points on. And I'm going to turn the point tool on. And just draw a line straight across there. As you can see, it just dissects it right there. So I'm going to try and patch this side because it's all straight and there really is no curves. I'll have to connect these objects first back here. So holding shift, I'm just going to connect both of those. Use the join tool. Do the same on the opposite side. Join them together. Let's try that patch now that we have only 3 curves instead of 5. There we go. So let's look at that in 3D. That looks good. Everything's nice and straight. So for our final one here, we're going to have to do a curve network instead of a patch, because as you can see, we go down on a curve here. So I'm going to go ahead and try that curve network. It's a pretty complex shape, and that's why there are so many points on it there. And it didn't really work out the way we wanted it to, so I'm just gonna go ahead and undo that. And I think I'm just gonna break it up into a couple more objects like we did with the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn on our straight line tool. I'm going to find a section where it's off of the curve here. Go into top view so we can get it straight across. Alright, so right now there's something that I know happens a lot when we're drawing in 3D space. So this is already a surface. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I drew my line on top of the curve and not onto the surface edge. So I'm just going to zoom out and realign so I can zoom all the way in there. Alright, so I'm going to turn control points on here. So I can see from selecting the curve in the surface that the curve is the one that falls on top of this thick line. And I think to make it easier, I'm just going to move it to a different layer and recolor it. There we go. So I know that that falls on the right spot. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the opposite side. Just fix my camera up here again by zooming out and realigning it. Right in the center there where I want to be. So I can zoom in nice and tight. I'm going to select the curve, move it to this layer, change the color there. I'm actually going to move this one into this layer as well. I'm just going to turn this one off altogether so I know that it's perfect. All right. So that looks good. That's what we want. I'm just going to go ahead and split both of these sides with this line there. Go ahead and keep working in our original layer here. So down here I should be able to just do a simple patch because it's nice and flat. So I'm going to go surface. There we go, so that looks a little bit better than it did last time. And now to finish it off, I'm just going to do this section here with the curve network, and hopefully we don't get that error that we got last time. Let's try it out, curve network. Alright, so that looks a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on our shaded view here. I'm going to do a little 3D tour of our neck. So as you can see there, we have that nice little smooth drop going down. A nice tapered edge there where we're going to be holding it. The neck shaft right there is nice and round. It'd be very nice to hang on to. And back here we look good as well. Alright, so there you have it. That is our first attempt at a neck build. This is, again, it's a Fender Stratocaster. Um, just to go over what we did again, we were drawing in 3D space. We were cutting out different kinds of curves, and then we were doing patches and curve networks on them.